What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about Rezolve AI. I want to go over some of the data points, break it down on what is really moving it, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So Rezolve is down 7.87%, 278 the low, 297 the high, and 8.4 million shares being traded. So a couple of things that's really affecting the broader market. One was good data that did come out, signaling that Black Friday sales did have record highs of around 11.8 billion. That is up 9.1 from the previous year, and this is only online sales. So this does really pop the likelihood of a cut, because why would we need a cut if consumers are out there spending the money? We kind of want the opposite. We want to see them struggle a little bit, as bad as that sounds, but that's enough to justify a rate cut. So you kind of have the market being somewhat mixed on that. At the same time, we also did have some fairly good global manufacturing. So S&P Global, that includes small, mid, and also large cap, that did come in at 52.2, forecast of 51.9. The ISM, that is only mid and large cap. So you can kind of see that a lot of the small caps are doing very good and that they're expanding. So that's kind of again, another good data point that did come out. Specific to Rezolve though, they did put out this news right here. So Rezolve AI defines the future of commerce with acquisition of Crownpeak. And I see a lot of people online already promoting this. And hopefully you guys appreciate my channel, because I'm not here to BS you. I'm not here to hype you up, nor am I here to bring you down. I like to bring up, kind of be very unbiased. So as much as I love this news and Rezolve actually putting out news, I feel like this is still very gray to me, because upon reading this, it does show and they highlight that how this is a good entryway into the States. Company's website, so Crownpeak does say that, so more than 600 customers globally with presence in America, EMEA, and Australia. From what I can see on their website where it says about us, and even when I was poking around on their website, I can't really fathom how technically Rezolve can do this, or how they can benefit from this, because it sounds very similar to what Rezolve already does do. And unless they want to take on Crownpeak's existing customers, because it does state right here that they do have roughly around 70 million in revenue. And so in general, I feel like there's a lot of grayness. Plus, at the same time, market doesn't like dilution, and that is exactly what this is. So ultimately, this deal is being done for 90 million. So I'll kind of go like that. So deal is 90 million. It looks like there is going to be two different tranches totaling 50 million. So that is going to be for a promissory note. Rest is going to be through dilution. And so, of course, anytime dilution is announced, stock tends to go down instantly. And so, yeah, I think in general, this is an okay type of thing. I still would like a lot more clarity on this. Of course, on social media, Rezolve did retweet this and posted this, but I feel like there needs to be further kind of explanation. And I think in general, people who kind of look at this about that 50 million note or the promissory note already knows that that's going to result in dilution, right? So if we pop over to their last earnings, it did signal that they have roughly around 9.6 million in cash or cash equivalents. So again, kind of you're gonna need money. So unless they really have some horseshoe kind of stuck to their, I feel like there's going to be a lot of dilution. And this is why, again, I like to look at a lot of the data behind the scenes. So far, only 2 transactions on the secondary market, and both are sells. So institutions are not buying this dip. Algorithmic trading, I think overall is really suppressing the whole market because of kind of the points I did mention on a macro standpoint. So AI is really pushing kind of stocks lower, but still, even with this acquisition, big money is not really buying Rezolve. So it is a very unfortunate type of scenario. So let me know your general thoughts on that in the comments below. And even when it comes down to the notes, I know a lot of people always tend to argue with me and saying like, hey, this isn't dilution. These notes, the 50 million, it actually does state that right here. So that it's going to be convertible, and it's going to be up to the discretion of kind of the note holders on how they get it, whether it be back in actual common stock or technically through cash. So in general, this is dilution. as whether you want to believe it or not. But nonetheless, aside from that, 7.18% of the free float is being shorted, works to be 11.19 million shares overall being shorted. You can kind of see from this green line right here, like shorts are playing some very, very wild games. So ultimately, like going from around 11% short interest to about 4, and then now doubling down again. So they're just all over the place. And I think the purpose of that is to kill the momentum. So every time Rezolve starts to build up a little bit of momentum, shorts appear to really double down, kill that momentum, and then they just kind of taper off and they just sit back. So it is, whoever is shorting Rezolve definitely knows the common strategies to really kind of do a lot of damage to the stock price. But nonetheless, at the time of doing this video, shorts are returning about 213,000 shares and a grand total of 11.19 million shares overall being shorted. Looking at the options, 105,000 in calls, 65,000 in puts, and then 54% of all the options being done are bearish in nature. So not necessarily the best. From a bull standpoint, you see a consensus for it to be above 3. Bears are anticipating for it to be sub kind of 250 in the foreseeable future, but there's not really much options activity, and this is something I've kind of complained about in the past. So far 2 transactions on the secondary market, both are sells, 2 transactions on the dark pool, and given how shorts aren't really doing anything, kind of matches with that for the most part. Right now with at 282, it is trading between this pivot and this S1. So 271 is going to be a strong support, followed by 231, and then flip side 337 and 402 is going to be the next strong target / resistance points. Aside from all of that, quickly popping back over here on the actual chart. So I think the last several trading days, it was really flirting with that 200-day moving average. And my video over the weekend, I said that given all the data that is coming out, I didn't know the Black Friday news at the time, but given all the upcoming data for this week, that's a good opportunity for Rezolve to really break higher. So I was actually optimistic that Rezolve was going to kind of move higher, because even looking at the market position, you don't see that much in willing sellers. So all Rezolve needed was a nice gentle push. That was it. And then it could easily just move back to kind of the 350 and above. But unfortunately, they decided to put out this acquisition news, and I think that is going to be kind of the kryptonite to really break it on the technicals. So regrettably, it is kind of breaking down a little bit. Currently below that 10-day moving average, so again losing a lot of momentum. And plus, because of the recent price action, you see stochastic RSI, it is very overdone, so overbought. So I think again that's one attributing factor why Rezolve is going down. So let me know your general thoughts on Rezolve. As I've mentioned time and time again, I'm not here to pump you up, I'm not here to bring you down. There's way too many finfluencers out there that don't really care, they just want views. And they just will say, hey, you know what, buy Rezolve, it is going to $10 next week, buy in now. There's just way too many people like that. And I think in general, you kind of need someone to play devil's advocate and give you no BS type of videos. And that is me. So in general, dilution and just grayness associated to the whole acquisition. That is what is really causing Rezolve to be hit a little bit more than a lot of other growth stocks. So let me know your general thoughts on that. Are you buying? Are you selling? What's your kind of general 2 cents on all of that? And one final thing, if you are looking for some solid kind of buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, pop over to my Patreon. I put out daily day trades, numerous swing trades. Definitely worthwhile to pop over there and check that out. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.